Hello YouTube, we have Matthew, and you got first place the other weekend at the EPIK Switch Tourney. And you won it, actually.
Yes, I ended up winning.
And you played branded Despia.
Yes.
No Brave, no
Brave.
DP, just the
Well,
pure...
No, yes, DP.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, you did play DP. Okay. And this is how many cards, by the way?
41 cards.
Okay.
13 hand traps, yeah.
Alright, go ahead and show us your list then.
Okay, start off. Good. 2 Fallen of Albaz. There's some lists run 1, but I like resolving Branded Fusion if my Libellion gets negated. So I ran 2. Next, for the best normal summon in the deck, Aluber. It's broken. It grabs Fusion, grabs any spell, and it also has the second effect, which is the Reborn and Negate. Some people don't consider. That only came up once during the event. 2 Tragedy. I only played 2. Some people consider bumping this up to 3. I think if I ran multiple more in red, then I would bump this up to 3 because, linking it off. 1 Ad-lib, broken. Reborn's Mirror Jade, it's really good. 3 Opening. This is the quick play Rhoda. Just consistency, having 6 Alubers.
Oh, real
really
quick,
nice.
you don't like Comedy, I think his name is?
No. So in testing, Comedy never really came up. The only time that Comedy comes up is if they like Imperm or Veiler your Libellion and you're dumping it, and then you're able to quick play Tribute it off. But 9 times out of 10, I'm just dumping the Tragedy to get the search for the ad-lib, to where Comedy really never came up. 2 in red. I only played 2 in red event. Most lists that I saw were playing in red. You'll see a card in the side later that makes me wish that I played 3 for the event. 2 worked fine for the event, but since then on, I've bumped it up to 3. 3 Branded Fusion. This is the bread and butter of the deck. This is the insane brand new card. Doll Fusion, but they don't need an E-deck monster. Leon card's absolutely insane. 1 Foolish. This is what I played over the 3rd Tragedy, right? Because it just dumps Tragedy or dumps anything else. It triggers Tragedy to search. Next Engine. FD cards. 2 FD. Celestial Dasher. I had some funny games where I opened this card and I opening pitch it to where later on I just dump this, and you can banish to draw 2, and then later with the card in E-deck, Libellion, you can shuffle it back, and then and still make DP after drawing 2. I did that funny combo twice. Next, Called by the Grave. We like our cards resolving and then going second. This is really good into whether it be the mirror on their in-red target, right, because it has to add back to be able to fusion, or against Prank Kids if they don't open the Brave engine, being able to hit cards like Bow Wow in their targets. 3 Prosperity. This is our 4th, 5th, and 6th copy of Fusion, or realistically 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th because counting Aluber. Just consistency. The deck needs consistency. I'm not playing like Springen's Kit or main deck Albion to where I need to see our cards. Next up, hand traps. 2 Nibiru. I know some lists of Despia completely cut this card, but I still respected decks like Brave Prank Kids, Sword Soul Tenyi, Based, whatever those Brave pile decks. And this paired with other hand traps is normally just game. 3 Ash. Ash FTK, hits kids, hits Branded Fusion, hits whatever, hits FD. 3 Bell. This is an inclusion because, post-structure deck, almost half of the room, if not more than half of the room, was on the Despia deck where this card's broken. And then similarly, right, I think Kids is the best deck in the room, even post-structure deck. And this hits cards like Pranks, hits Doodle, hits Bow Wow. And then, like, if you have it paired with other hand traps, deals even with DPE. Well, no, not DPE. Griffin. 2 Ogre. This used to be a 3 of staple, but I cut it down because it does absolutely nothing in the mirror, but it's still insane against any Brave deck, hitting Fateful, hitting Griffin, whatever. And then also against decks like Sword Soul, similarly hitting their normal summon. Next, 3 Veiler. This card energizes insanely well with Nib or Bell or Ogre. It's good in the mirror. It's good against Sword Soul. It's the only deck that it's horrible against is Kids. And to a fair extent, I also respected Flunder, even though I played against no Flunder in the entire tournament. Shoutouts to Will Kramer, got top 30. Next, 3 Super Poly. This was originally going to be main deck Crossout, which you'll see later in my side deck. But shoutouts to Mark. I heard he told me basically like more than half of this room is on Despia. So I was like, cool. I'm just going to main deck this card and blow out the mirror.
Yeah.
And then another thing with this too. So you saw opening earlier, right? Against any of the Dag to Scythe decks, if you opening plus this, it just destroys them because right you go draw phase opening. If they don't negate it, summon a name, probably like Tragedy, and then standby phase they reborn their DP, and you can use turn player priority on summon. Use the Super Poly. Make your Dragostapelia or whatever. Get your search for your Aluber. And then just pop off and they can't scythe you.
Yeah.
Do you want to go extra or
we'll do
side
extra
after? Cool. Extra deck. Right off. 2 links. Anima. This is to link off Tragedy, and also because as you saw I main deck Nibiru. You give them their Nib token in the zone, in the Anima zone, under the EMZ, and then you just suck it up, and it's really good.
Nice.
Dark. This is, it's
good.
Yeah, it's just very, very good. Summoning back your opponent's DPs. If you have no fusion, then you can make this, and then you can crash, and then search for basically any of your important main deck names like Aluber or whatever. Next, DPE for the engine, self-explanatory. Next, the Super Poly target that I chose to run in the E deck being Mudragon. You'll see later. I didn't run Weather Washer because most Prank Kids players, game 1, if they open Brave Engine plus Kids cards, they're summoning Fansies off as their last name. And right, Griffin being a win, Fansies being a win. You just go draw phase this. And then you can call whichever type, whether dark or light, based off what you need to resolve. And at best, they're summoning Washer because they don't have all of the names right.
Yeah.
Next, Dragostapelia. This is not only a Super Poly target, but it also comes up often as a branded in red target to be able to summon back, banish Adlib, whatever. 2 Guardian Chimera. Some people run 1 of this, but I chose to run 2. This card's absolutely broken. Yeah, it's completely broken. I feel any games that I summoned to this, I just ended up winning.
Yeah.
2 Mirror Jade. Victoria. This is
playing 2 Mirror Jade.
Yeah. This is the new fusion. Right. Non-targeting banish. Send from E deck as cost. It's broken because it triggers later in the E deck. 2 Lubellion. This is the other new fusion. This is the shuffle back and
fusion.
Yeah, and fuse. This is normally what I'm doing. 1 because I'm dumping Tragedy. 2 Albion. I almost never summon this. Unless I'm going second, and I'm specifically going for game.
Because you need to be able to attack.
Yeah, because this is able to attack, and if not, you're just able to banish itself.
Yeah.
Sometimes it also comes up for Super Poly. Next, Quiritus. This was honest because I played so much Mirror. This was one of, if not the MVP card of the weekend. So it has an effect where you can quick play during the main phase, make all of your opponent's monsters. Except level 8 or higher fusions into 0, and then when it leaves the field because of card effect or just because of your opponent's card, except for battle, of course, which came up, you summon a Despia monster or Fallen of Albaz from deck. In round 5, and also in top 8 in the mirror. This came in super clutch because I summoned this off against Houston. He super polyed this and my Jade away, and I went Chainlink 1 Quiritus to summon Albaz, Chainlink 2 Jade to nuke his board, and I summoned Albaz, and then I fused using his Jade and then my Albaz, for my own Jade.
Nice.
Just broken. And then Masquerade, only one. You don't really have space for the second, unless I were to cut
Mud or Mirror Jade.
the second Jade. But I valued the second Jade more, specifically because of normally when I was prosping away Dark and one of the Jades, and then Mud Dragon if it was a matchup that it didn't need. This card also means your opponent, like if you see I play no game 1 outs to Mystic Mine, into mine. You just summon this, right? Because it functions like Trickstar monsters, to where they keep burning, it doesn't activate, to where they put themselves on a clock.
Yeah.
And as you see, I'm running more than 40. Right? Most Flunder players, are on 40. Side deck next.
Yeah.
2 token collector, pretty self-explanatory. Any deck that isn't the Mirror or Flunder is playing Brave cards or is summoning tokens to their deck. Sword Soul, any Brave deck. This card's just absolutely insane. It single-handedly put in so much work because for some reason there were a lot of people there who were deciding to play Brave cards in the Despia deck, which I think is absolutely wrong. And
you do not like that variant.
No. We like resolving a Luber effect to where this card was insane.
You're good.
You're good. Next, 2DD Crow. This isn't super standard. But
I like this card.
Yeah, I like this card a lot too. I put it in against like Cyber Slich, any Eldritch variant, and I also put it in against Prankids because most lists of Prankids are only playing 1 fusion spell, and if you open
and
this,
they typically dump it for
exactly,
fansies.
Yeah. To play around Nibiru, they dump it off of fansies and they add Pranks, right? Because they can at least end on DPE through Pranks token. But if you get rid of the 1 fusion, then they're just playing DPE Griffin control.
Which isn't bad.
Which isn't bad, but between all the hand traps in your engine, this deck can deal very easily with DPE.
Yeah.
Next, 3 Droll and Lockbird. This card is insane in theory. I never sided in once because I never played against any Flunder or Based or you saw Kodiak.
It's like very niche moment.
Yeah.
Decks aren't really losing play, I should say.
Yeah, well, no. So it was either this or Lancia, but I think Lancia's very bad. To where I wanted a card that could go in against Flunder or Base and cover more branches, and against Flunder too. Being able to do this on my own turn was nice too. But like I said, I never played against any Flunder. Yeah. Next, 3 Twisters. We don't like monkey decks. The graveyard is your second hand, right? So being able to pitch cards is perfectly fine. Your other effects off of it, and then like against Prankids, this card's absolutely insane. In the Mirror, if they play around Bell by setting multiple in-reds, you can just go draw phase or standby phase this, and then you deal with both of the in-reds for free. Next card, 3 Crossout Designator. I saw this card 5 times, and all 5 of those games I won, whether it be going second or going first. By far, this was the MVP of the deck.
Would you put it in the main deck? Would you put it in your main deck?
In the future, if there continues to be a lot of Mirror, I'd consider putting this in the main. I mained Super Poly for the event in Dallas because I was told that luckily by Mark, that there was a ton of Mirror, to where I chose to main the Super Poly over it. But in the future, especially with changes to the list, I'd consider main decking this card. Yeah, every game that I saw this card, I won. There was a funny in top 8, my opponent played around Bell by setting double Branded in red, and I had exactly Bell cross out to where I Bell the first in red, and then I cross out the second one, and then it's this game.
Jesus. And your last card?
Last 2. Banshee Zombie World Engine. This card just says Flunder doesn't play, Dragon Link does not play. This card, these 2 cards were very nice, except like I said, I never played against Flunder, but just having an auto win button in my deck as an assurance that can always, right, because you access this through Branded Fusion. This card, I think it's a staple in this side deck.
Nice.
Anything else?
That's pretty much it.
For sure.
Well, thank you, Matthew, and congratulations on your Switch. And yeah, I hope to see more of you now that you're living here.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I just moved here from California around 2 weeks ago, and I'm definitely happy to be a part of the Texas community now. And I hope that you get to see a lot more of me in the future.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.